Hello there, Guyana. You've asked for it. It is finally here. The Wake Up Guyana Show with yours truly, Leonard Gildarie. Monday to Friday, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Make your voices be heard. Call us, text us. Kaieteur Radio 99.1, 99.5 FM. The Wake Up Guyana Show. Yes, good afternoon. Welcome once again to the Wake Up Guyana show here on Kaieteur Radio. Whatever it is that you're doing, I want to say a blessed day to you. It is a very lovely day out there today. I saw Glenn Lyle has ordered some painting of Kaieteur News. I saw some colors I am not normally associated with Kaieteur News there. I'm going to ask him what is it exactly that he has planned here. I want to say good day to Mr. Glenn Lyle, publisher of Kaieteur News as well as owner director of Kaieteur Radio. Sir, good day to you and your family. And I want to say good day to my colleagues here at Kaieteur News, Kaieteur Radio as well as to the man of the controls here, Raj. So it is November the 30th, 2022, and you're tuned into the number one radio station in Guyana. It's no other than Kaieteur Radio. We are coming to you live on 99.1 in Esquebo and Demerara. And if you're in Berbice, it is 99.5. We also streaming to you live on Kaieteur Radio on Facebook, Kaieteur Radio live stream on YouTube. So it is the last day in the month of November, and then we're in the home stretch for Christmas. Is it a good Christmas? Well, I don't know. What I could tell you is on the roadways, it seems like every year it gets worse and worse and worse. But there's some good things that I must tell you that is happening on the roadways, especially on the East Bank of Demerara when it comes to traffic congestion and what the police are doing. And we must tell you a little bit that today, have a little discussion. What we also want to tell you is that today at 1:35 we were scheduled to have GPL in the house. They said that they are coming here. They're coming with a team tomorrow, and we are going to be discussing the situation with the blackouts about what is really the problem that GPL has. Not only that, we are going to be talking about if you have issues, how could you get all of them? Because GPL has been accused, time and time again of its customer service. The hardship in getting through to them would have been such a frustrating experience. So they are coming on tomorrow. We're going to have the public relations officer as well as maybe one or two other directors of operations and so on. I understand that they're looking for a new CEO, Chief Executive Officer at the moment. So that's going to be an interesting thing. They have right now Chief Executive Officer, I think, whose contract is about to expire or has already expired, and he's Albert Gordon, all the way from Jamaica. But GPL would have upset a lot of people yesterday because of it was Sunday, and normally when you're home Sunday, you want to do things. There was blackout, there was an entire shutdown. Now we're hearing a cable that is across the Demerara River has been damaged yet again. And this is something that I'm very, very tired about. It seems as if the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing. and everybody knows that there's a cable across the river, except the people who got to monitor it, who's gonna have to make sure that the ships are anchored where they're supposed to be anchored. So they've cut that cable again, and that cable has to be repaired. Why is it important? We have a big a generator right, or a couple of power plants right across the river there, and it is the biggest power plant in the entire country, and that was sharing power with the Demerara area, the East Demerara area. So when you can't have power being shared the way that they're supposed to share it, well, then you have issues. You're going to have a shortfall of generation. What we could tell you, there's some link on the East Bank there that they had put up. Is they're going to bring across enough? I'm not sure, but they need to fix this uh, Demerara River cable right now as quickly as possible, because it was frustrating several hours yesterday. So I did see a couple of things. I want to talk to you. There was a tragic case of 150 deaths right now in Guyana, and it was brought up by the death of a 6-month-old baby. 6-month-old baby. Tragic for that family, and it has underscored one very, very important thing, which is that the COVID 19 now, this is going to be the youngest death that Guyana would have experienced since March, when the pandemic, we went on the lockdown, and the world started really taking notice of the pandemic, COVID 19. And so, 6-month-old baby dead, and we have 150 deaths in Guyana so far, according to the latest figures that we have right now. So before we continue with some other things that I want to tell you, we are going to head into our number one newspaper in Guyana right now, and this is what it has to say over the weekend as well as Monday. Very quickly, let's go to it. EPA ill-equipped to handle gas importation of hazardous chemicals. Former head Vincent Adams and Guyanese words, and they would have said, we are going into oil and gas. We have to deal with all these chemicals and so on. Some of them really, really very dangerous. And EPA, which is supposed to be the body that is looking into it, this entity does not have the necessary wherewithal to monitor chemicals coming into this country, and this is something that we really, really got to think. We really behind. We're lagging behind. We've been lapped by the oil industry, what they've started. And if anything goes wrong, there's very little persons or very little things that we could do right now. We would not be able to pick it up very quickly, and even the laws in itself to put the necessary penalties and so on, it's not very much there. Even to protect ourselves from getting some of the business, it's not very much there. So Exxon Total renegotiate major gas sharing deal in Mozambique, and this is interesting because it sends them the very clear message that yes, you could have negotiation after deals would have been done. This is based on the stories that we've seen here. Oil companies must use local goods and services Suriname laws. 5 years later, Guyana does not have proper local content provision. Driver runs away after fatally hitting a young man. This is really, really sad. You leave a car, you left that man on the road there, so you got to go to jail, my friend. Oil companies must not prohibit employees from becoming unionized, and this is an interesting story here. We know that there's been some worrying signals coming out from the oil industry about some of the workers, where they're talking about the conditions that they're working under, the kind of pay. So this is how it works. The oil companies does not hire anybody. They have third parties for them, and those people hire and they pay them well. But the problem is when those companies they got to pay the local workers. That is when you have the issues in Guyana. So right about now, as we speak, also I must tell you that there's an ongoing court case, that petition that's before the court. I understand that, among other things, the coalition is asking the court to declare that David Granger should be made president. And as we speak right now, I understand that if he's not already, he's on his way to Cuba for to check up on his cancer treatment. So I tell you that because these are things that we should know about. Oil companies trap Ghana in long-term deal to take more gas than it needs. International watchdog calls on Guyana to pay heed. Why is that important? Well, let me tell you why it's important. We are going to see, we're going to be signing all kinds of deal, and it's not only oil. It could be on anything. It could be on gold. It could be on bauxite. We got to make sure that whatever it is that we signed it is grounded in good science. It is grounded in logics. It's grounded in laws, and it's grounded on the circumstances. Let's say, for example, uh, uh, you have a lot of oil, gas out there. What you do not want to find, like what Ghana has done, they signed a deal with these people who were doing the oil, who was bringing up the oil, and the deal says you take all the gas whether you need it or not, and you're gonna pay us. Who does those kinds of things? It's like you are ordering more food than you need, and you sign up that deal right now. This is very very simple. You know that you have certain food that you're gonna take, and you already have it planned that your kitchen garden and your grandmother and everybody else overseas are gonna send food for you, while Burbies is gonna send food for you, like vegetables and ground provisions and so on. Yet you sign a deal with the supermarket to take food on a 20-year store, meaning every month you got to take them. And whether you need that food or not from that supermarket, well, you know, at the end of the day, what happens? You're going to be left with it in your hand, and you still would have to put your hands into your pocket and pay. So we got to be very, very careful with that. We are going to continue very quickly. Berbice is continuing to have an issue there with COVID-19, and it is worrisome because when you look at the situation up there and where it's a lockdown. If a lockdown in that area there is going to basically have a big impact. You guys got to be you're going to ensure that whatever it is that you're doing, you need to do it a little better. You need to protect yourself. This is not time to play. We are in a serious time. We are in pandemic mode. Yes, you have to do yourself. I have to come to work, but I have to make sure that I protect myself. First thing that I do when I come into the studio here is spray down and wipe down and things like that because I need to protect myself. So very, very quickly, let us see what else it is that we have happening in the newspaper here today. Do we have, yes, um, contribution, the traffic situation. We're going to talk about the traffic on the East Bank there. Engineering bill for cabinet subcommittee. The local engineers want a new law, some new laws, and they've made some recommendation. So let's see what happens here because you know we need our local input and it's good to build capacity with our local people. Siparuta imposes lockdown. Oriala restricted movements. Government team remain in place to treat the COVID-19 case. Minister Wadajil threatens contractor to personally visit project sites. I like the kind of language that Wadajil is talking there because I did see over the weekend. I kind of, when you look at what these people are doing again, the new government on their finale, I've been looking at the posture because you have to constantly engage your government of the day. You have to hold the feet to the fire as we would have promised to do during the elections time. We said we don't bother with whichever government is in place. We will continue to pay attention to them. We will continue to hold them accountable, make sure that transparency is the order of the day. What we've been seeing so far is that they've been fanning out various regions, going out. I did see one with young Charles Ramson over the weekend, and I like that. I see Charles Ramson as a politician, young politician, braised up against the gate talking to the man that's upstairs, and he's standing in front on the bridge. The body language and everything. It's as if they are in this government here, is in campaign mode, and it should be that way, that you're there. You have to assume that you're going to be kicked out in the next 5 years. You have to do your job. You have to engage the people. There's no two ways about it. When the people open them out and they tell you things are bothering them about GPL, GWI, subject minister has to jump on it and make sure that he makes statements and so on. Not saying it, not doing anything. Remaining in your office is not an option. Then, of course, we did see since last week, Maxwell McKay, there's a son of Rex McKay, would have died. They own that, I think, Channel 7 television station there, WRHM. And so it is something that we continuously would have to pay attention to. We're losing a lot of our people. I see even um, uh, I see even the laws when it comes to sexual offenses. So there's a lot of talks about it. There's a lot of talks about domestic violence. I'd have to get one of the movers of that, Priyamanik Chan, into the studio here sometime or the other, because she has passed some laws when she was the minister a couple of years back, and talking about some protection for women, what women could do. You could get the man out of the house if he is abusing you. Vice versa, I think the protection for men as well under these laws. But it's more of the men who has been harassing women. We go to the Monday newspaper here, November the 30th. It's the last day of the month, and this is what the newspaper, Kaieteur News, Guyana's largest selling daily, is saying to you. Force preference in oil and gas should always go to Guyanese, and this is by Jack Dew, Vice President. And this is good when you hear that. Whichever way you look at it, nobody's going to quarrel if we see, control of our operations in Guyana landing in the hands of locals. We want to see that. Assess Guyana's power demanded before signing gas deal. Sorry, let me read that back. Assess Guyana's power demand before signing gas deal. Institute of the Americas. So in essence, what you're saying there, look at what we have, what we want in terms of any kind of deal, how much gas we're going to take before we sign anything. And this is a continuation of the story that we just read there. Um, uh, Emergency medicine specialist urges combating COVID-19. We have to reopen the country with care and caution. And this is good. Pork knuckle killed while trying to protect wife from robbers. Shocking case, how they rob him, slit his throat, and so on. This is something we have our gold bush. I think the police, like how they paid attention to the road situation there, have to start paying attention also to the madness that's happening in the hinterlands. We would have been talking over the last couple of weeks, couple of months about my fears. My fear is that if we open up the hinterlands here, that is going to continue. The fear is already there. The indications, the indicators that something is going on in the hinterlands, in the gold bush, in our back dams. With lawlessness, it's almost like the Wild West, as we would have said. It is not something that we could shift aside, because if you don't address the situation right now, our oil, our corruption, we're gonna end up waking up one morning and we're gonna be in a place that we don't want to be. And I don't want to even talk about what that place is. You have my gist of it. You have to start waking up. It's a Wake Up Guyana show here. Um, there's a child care and protection agency probing rape of 14-year-old who recently gave birth. Stories like this sends me up a wall. Why? I have kids, and then when you see one is 11, one is 12, one is 14, and another one is 19, and when you see a 14-year-old give birth and there's rape involved, you want to do bad things to people who do these things here. You have to pay attention, make sure that you protect your little ones, pay attention to what's happening to your neighbors and so on. Do not allow yourself to not pay attention, because at the end of the day, if something happens, how do you live with yourself unless you don't have a conscience? Um, PIAR approval. PPP shows no sign of moving away from track record of zero transparency. Dr. Jan Mangal, there's a former energy department head, Dr. Jan Mangal, advisor added to the government on energy. Former EPA head says stop miners from causing damage to the environment. And of course, this is not something. If you fly over the hinterlands there and you look down and see what is happening there, before you take up any operations, you start mining, make sure that you have a plan, that you just don't go mine and leave the area just like that. You have to cover it up back, allow the vegetation to regrow and so on. That's a way of protecting our environment. We have many people so would dig it up, big craters, leave it there and just go, move on next. And that is what we do to our country. We don't have any kind of, at the end of the day, no kind of love for this country by some people. Let me read the story here. 6-day-old baby is country's latest COVID-19 fatality. The Ministry of Health yesterday reported that a 6-day-old male infant from the region 3 succumbed due to the COVID-19. The ministry in a statement said the infant died while being treated at a medical facility, and his death was recorded as Guyana's 150th COVID-19 fatality. It was not revealed whether the child's mother tested positive for the virus, and efforts made by this publication to contact health officials were futile yesterday. Addition, the ministry recorded 38 new cases, pushing the total number of confirmed cases to 5,376, as indicated in its dashboard update. The dashboard also revealed 3 persons are in COVID-19 intensive care, 75 in institutional care, 43 in institutional quarantine, and 782 in approved home isolation. To date, 29,752 persons have been tested, with 4,346 recovery recorded. So that, in its essence, is some of the big stories that you should be seeing here. Like I said, we will be discussing a couple of things before we head to a break in a very, very short while. Well, let me tell you, let's talk about GPL, for instance, because I want to continue this and I want you guys to, I want us to make sure that we send in those comments because it's all about you. Now, a couple years back, GPL took the decision to run a cable to have an interlink system between Demerara and Berbice. So a cable was run across the Demerara River. There's one, didn't have the capacity. It was somewhere in the Craig area on the east bank of Demerara. I think they have run another one now at Garden of Eden. But there's a major one linking the big power plant at Braden Hoop there to the Kingston power plant. And that was laid across the Demerara River. Guess what? It's about 3 or 4 or 5 times now that that cable has been cut. And every time it's cut, we have to see blackouts here. Now, there are certain parts, there are monitors across this river here before you throw down your anchors. Where is the authorities that is supposed to be liaising with GPL here? I'm talking about maritime and otherwise. You just can't come throw an anchor and says that you're anchoring here. You have to ensure that if you're in the people water, you have to ask where is it or tell the people where it is. And in any case, for something as powerful, something as critical as a submarine cable across the Demerara River, you have to know where it is and be able to ensure. You have to map it. They're now going to map it right now. I'm not sure, put indicators, whether it's live buoys or whatever it is. I think we need to move on this, but it is unbelievable that the GPL is reporting right now there's another damage to that cable, that submarine cable across the Demerara River here right now, and I rather suspect we are seeing a reduce. This is power that is coming from the Reader Hoop area to the Kingston and the Demerara integrated system, the grid system that we have here, that is also linked to Berbice. So it has a ripple effect right across the nation, especially in Demerara and Berbice, whenever that cable goes down. We did talk about the 6-month-old baby that died. There is right now also, before we head to our break, I must tell you that there is, you can remember last week we talked about the teacher. The teacher would have been sentenced, I think, 3 years because of an alleged, because of a misconduct, sexual misconduct, sexual abuse that he's been accused of with regards to a student at a private city school. Well, he turned up in court and was jailed 3 years, I think, last week. Um, uh, and there is a movement now because it says that the magistrate erred, and there's a lot of support gathering for him. I understand today that there was a protest at the President's College on the east coast of Demerara, and as I speak right now, I'm trying to get some details with regards to that. So we are at just about 126 thereabouts. We are gonna ask. To get our phones and everything up because we will be opening the lines. Let me tell you, it is the numbers that we will be hearing you from is 6222222. You could send us the messages to that number. Do not call us on 6222222. We cannot answer. What you could call us on is 226-7453. We will be opening the line just after 1:30 thereabouts, and you could tell us what is bothering you. In the meantime, if you want to call GPL and you want to report a fault or something, if you're not getting through to the normal lines, and you really need to get it, do not abuse this number here. It's 226-7453. Sorry, 225 14 is 225-1471, I think it is. Yeah, 225-1471. You call them, and that's the PR department, and they could probably be able to help you there. I am going to give you GWI. Let me tell you about GWI now. GWI, I was trying to get them for the longest while, and it took a couple of weeks after I got testy with them, and I called the PR department back. GWI has refused to come on the program here. They basically says they have a preference, so people call them and report the problem to them, and I'm going to get that number for you. I'm not doing no PR for GWI because at this point in time, they have to be able to answer some of the things. Something is going on with GWI there, and they need to tell the people what is happening. But at the end of the day, they basically says they're not coming onto the program. They are going to tell us they have a preference not to do it right now, and if anybody wants and to complain to them or so, they could call them on their number there. And I'm trying to get a number here for you. Let me see, November 16. Okay. In the meantime, I'm going to come back to that and give you that number a little later. But it's 622-222 that you could be able to send us those messages to, and 226-7453. We could go into some messages very, very quickly before we go to the phone lines there. And hi, Leonard. Good afternoon to you, my brother. I observed person weeding the roadside going to the Sandytown West Bank Demerara Canal number 2. Now, this person only weeding about 5 feet on one side of the road shoulder. When questioned, one of the person who's weeding the road why they're not reading farther along the parapet, the man said to leave that for whoever will be cleaning the trench. Now, I'm sure that the contract would have stipulated the width that they would have that they should have weed. Someone who's responsible for this work needs to look into that. Could you get onto the RDC on the RDC Region 3 RDC there, and let me know how that happens? But we have raised it. I'm going to try to raise this with the NDC in that area there. I think it's being led by Angeli Sibaran. I think it is. I'm going to try to get hold of her and see what we could say. Hi, Gildarie. I like Minister and the landlord, the police to investigate this Ponzi scheme. Market agent and then more who's taken money from people. And when they went to ask them about the money, told us nothing about the money. The people have to account for the money, the signature on the contract. Yes, and I come back to it again. I'm not sure what the Attorney General is doing. Let me tell you what I could tell you guys what you could do. You guys need to get hold of the Attorney General and the landlord office and find out where they are with this thing. This man is before the court. He came out on bail. Did promise to make a payment to the people. I did call them to come on the program here. I was given a number for the lawyer, I think Dexter Todd, never answered the phone. So something is happening here. I think they've gone with the people's money. But when this thing was happening, nobody had a clue that there were such good deals happening. I wanted to invest my money. The little dollars that I have, I don't have a lot. Even if it's 100,000, 20,000, I would have found the money somewhere and invested it to get back 40 and 60%. But guess what? They never advertise it. And everybody who knew about it kept it very quiet. So this is how scams work. Why is it that something that is so good that you never advertise? Get on to the Attorney General office and find out what's happened. Good afternoon, Mr. Gildarie. My cousin who lives in Coghlan Dam in Region 3 missed the distribution of the COVID-19 grant. He and his family were at church at the time. By the time he got home, the distributor left completely. What do you think he should do? Grateful for your advice. Please go to the RDC Region 3 and they should be able to advise you. All the RDCs, those people who did not receive, please keep checking with them. In the meantime, it's just about 1:30, 1:31 here, and it's your insurance time. CARICOM insurance time. Do you have a contract? Well, why not give us a call for the best rates on the bonds insurance today? CARICOM General Insurance Company, Inc. at 121 Regent on Ornock Street. To better serve you, you can now purchase your insurance online. Telephone 225-1787 or 269-0020. CARICOM General Insurance Company, Inc. We are going to continue right now. We will go to our lines and have it open 226-7453. We don't happen to have one yet. In the meantime, I am going to be reading you some messages here. Um, uh, yes, check with the RDC in Region 3. Good afternoon, Leonard. Is it GPL not doing inquiries on bill and Guyana doing queries? Let me see. No, no. Everybody is supposed to be doing queries. If you have an issue with your bill, all the telephone companies, all the utilities, and everything are mandated to do queries because the mistakes could be made because they're checking and so on. They are doing queries. They have to do queries. If they're not doing it, they are breaking some rules there. Good afternoon, Mr. Gildarie. Just wanted to leave a comment with a viewer in the Wake Up Guyana Watch. Um, Dear sir, I'd like you to air on your next program that there are a lot of Guyanese who are deprived of the COVID 19 grant. Glad if you could get information on this issue and keep us posted. Keep up the good works, Mr. Leonard. Thank you very much. And this is coming from, it looks like somebody in the hinterlands here. Good afternoon, Mr. Gildarie. Every day I listen to your program. I really learn a lot. I must tell you, I live in Port Drawing. I must say that I received the $25,000. I'm so happy. Do have a blessed day. Thank you very much for that. Good afternoon. Let me see what they're saying here. Good afternoon, my brother. I hope that you guys are having a wonderful day. I want to raise a couple of issues. Number one, the crime rate is going up in Guyana. One of the things that the government needs to bring back, it's hanging, and it would make more people think twice before they commit a horrific crime. Number two is, why is the police taking so long? My bravery given, I'm not sure, giving people their license. That is the reason why so many accidents happen in Guyana. These people need to be held accountable for their action. Tell me I'm saying something wrong. It's sad every day I turn on the news in Guyana. There's so many different crimes that's happening every day. So if the government bring back hanging to open people's eyes in Guyana, there's just lawless there, my friend. A lot of people not doing things because we custom, the minute that you step out of Guyana, you go live in another place, you throw the line, you throw your garbage. In fact, you're going to be the first one as a model citizen. Make sure you throw your garbage in you sort it out, you throw it inside the bin. If you're driving, you don't commit anything, you don't drink and drive, you don't do anything. If the people say have a curfew, you make sure that you're home. So there are many things. If you got to pay your taxes, we have many good Guyanese that's living abroad. You come back here, you got to say the madness is two different people, Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. If you understand, if you know the whole story about this monster that had two personalities, two different individuals, two different, one a monster, one a human. There are so many inexperienced drivers who get a license without going to class in Guyana. And they drive recklessly and take innocent life. What is the government doing about the situation? Because everybody's taking bribery. It's this guy said bravery and leave people to suffer. My brother, the people who catch fish for a living, will be hurt very bad from the ExxonMobil oil. And if the EPA does not do anything right now, it will destroy the rainforests. In other words, the fume that comes out from the gas and oil will make a lot of people sick if they do not get it right. My brother, when I hear things like this happen to our kids, when a teacher sexually molests or harasses a child, he should go to jail for life. How can the government of Guyana give him 3 years? This is BS. It's ridiculous that the people need to do better. They need to put the foot down and stop dragging it. And it's so right. And there's several issues that the man talk about there. License. Do not buy a license. You should go through the classes. You should study it. I think there's a system there. A couple of years back, about 2-3 years back, a number of pastors and others, it was busted, or religious leaders were busted because of this driver's license scam. You weren't even going to classes, and the next thing you know, you see a little boy driving a vehicle. Next thing you know, you see a couple of people them lay down across the road. They're riding motorcycles, and you wonder, did they ever go through the classes and do stuff like that? If you do a survey in Guyana and a good investigation, you're gonna find. And this is Gildarie speaking. This is not Kaieteur Radio speaking or Kaieteur News. I believe in my heart, 60 to 70% of the people in Guyana did not probably go through the right classes or go through the right procedures when it comes to collecting the license. That's a story. That's a topic for another day. Do we have a call in line? Good afternoon, caller. On the air. Go right ahead.
Hello, good afternoon, Gildarie.
Good afternoon, sir.
You're here, but
I
it's shooting up test in front quarantine.
At quarantine, there was. I did see a story in the paper here today. I wonder if it's the same thing that we're looking at here. A salesman shot another injured during a brazen attempted robbery. This of a truck.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
we have it in our newspaper here at Kaieteur newspaper here today. Five Ridge Village. No, the guy from Five Ridge
Test in
Village.
front.
This is Chesney Front.
Yeah, but the guy from 64.
Yes, this is really really sad, man. And people are working hard. Simple
Yeah,
person. This boy really get up because when the shot, I see the bullet graze his chin. Just a centimeters, maybe in another direction. That could have been over. This guy got to be thanking God here.
the one by get a slit on his face.
Yes, that's because the shot at him. I understand. The shot at him and the bullet grazed him. So that is very very close. I mean, he's gonna have a scar there for the rest of his life. But this is really really shocking. Some of the things that you're seeing. I was reading a story, but go ahead. You continue. Go ahead.
Yeah, the man shoot the boy, and the one by gets gashed with a knife.
Are they okay? Are they good though?
The one by was get shot now that all the team got in and get out the bullet yet funny. He
Yeah,
on
they,
my
they
hospital.
yeah. So he's gonna be all right, man. But it's
Only
very.
hope, only hope so.
Some family of yours.
Yeah, yeah.
I hope that
Brother and
he.
son.
Oh my gosh, I'm really sorry. But let me ask you a question. How is the crime situation there in Barbies?
You know all of that here, but just this robbery, and for this Christmas season, you'll find it.
And what do we find? It's mostly young boys doing it.
Young by them.
Yeah, because they're smoking up and they got all kind of thing. And
Yeah,
we got to be very very careful because in almost every village, you don't have you don't
yeah,
want to work, and they don't really care. It's for them. It's for the thrill, and you're part of these gangs and so on. If you could
yeah,
shoot somebody or kill somebody, you're a bad man at the end of the day. It's like a feather in the cap.
yeah, yeah.
These are the kind of things that's happening out there.
All right, Mr. Gildarie.
Thank you very much, my brother. All the
Thank you.
best.
Yeah.
Bye bye. I want to say good day to the folks down in Berbice. Wherever you are, whatever it is that you're doing, down all the way to Molson Creek. Oriala, I want to say good day to you. I know that you guys are on a partial lockdown restrictions there, Siparuta, and so on. And we come back down to Port Morant, Rose Hall, New Amsterdam, so many places, Hampshire and there's so many other places in between there. Blackbush Polo, how it is that you guys are doing there. I hope that you're having a wonderful day. I hope that the rain yesterday, rain, as the old people would say, rain sent me because it was a lot of rain, especially in the evening part. Um, and it fell so hard I thought it would actually bore the roof. But I'm hoping that you can have some good weather. I know that the rice people are smiling because there was some good prices. There was some good how you say it. There were some good crops as well. So we hoping we hoping that coming on to next year for the forest crop that we could be able to have it even better food security around the world and in Guyana is going to become so very important. The only problem that we have, we're producing so much of food sometimes that we have to throw it away, we have to dump it, we have to find market, we have to find things that could be done to food that we have, whether it's canning, but it's going to demand that we have cheap electricity. As of now, we don't have a stable electricity. There's so many things that's wrong with this place. Now, no cheap electricity, no kind of stable electricity. So we have to fix that, and we have to fix that in a big hurry. I was talking to somebody called me yesterday and says, the reason why this government might or all the governments might have been so anxious to get out the oil out of the ground is because of the renewable energy which is going to be taken ground within the next couple of years. And so you have to get it out because in the next 20 years or so it's not going to be worth as much, and even the projections are showing that it's not going to go above $50. I'm just telling you what the gentleman said to me. So it's interesting to look at both sides of the picture here as well. But what is Guyana getting out of it? That is where we are, and that is how we should be fighting. And today, like I've always said, it is for us to wake up and smell the coffee, because we cannot continue having one set of people or having our people, very, very quiet, very thing, and leave it to the NDC people, leave it to our government to do the thing. No, you got to wake up in every region that you are living, whether it's in, we have 10 administrative regions, you have RDCs, this is the regional democratic councils, who are in charge of carrying out drainage and other functions within the community, maintaining play fields and other things that they could do, drainage and irrigation, so many important functions that the RDCs in the region that they do. You have to ensure that these people that we have put there, that they work. The NDC people, well, we don't have to go there. This is something we've been talking about so many times. So very, very quickly, let me see what's it that we have here. Good afternoon, sir, everybody. This is my concern. There's a bar in the Diamond Grove scheme, formerly Jupat Bar, now owned by an ex-policeman. This bar is opening until 2 or 3 p.m. in the morning, and the music loud. When you call the police station, the officer says he's sending a patrol, but none come, only to learn that a policeman operating the bar. So the police won't come. It's not fair to the other bar owners who are told to close the door. Please highlight. Thank you very much. And so that bar there, it was formerly known as Jupat Bar. They name it Blink. Right now, the new name. So the Golden Grove Police Station, the Grove Police Station, what is happening here? The people are complaining that one of your own, that you're showing some kind of favoritism there. But not only that, you cannot be open till 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. There is a curfew that is in place. So I'm calling you guys out. In fact, I'd be having a conversation there with the good gentleman, Mr. Harper, and so on, to ensure that people are complaining, that he knows that people are complaining, and that he has to fix it. Do we have another call on line there? Good afternoon, caller on the air. Go right ahead. Hello?
Yeah, Mr. Gildarie, I just calling to concern one thing, problem in St. Cuthbert's mission.
St. Cuthbert's Mission. Yes, sir. Tell me.
I checked this since Tuesday gone, and they said there is
Since Tuesday gone, what happened? Hello? Hello? Did we lose a call? I'm sorry. I really did not hear. You said since Tuesday gone, something happened at St. Cuthbert's Mission. It's all the way up the Mahaika River there. I would want you to call back here and let us know what is happening. Let me see very quickly. Good afternoon, Leonard. I must say that the traffic situation on the East Bank Demerara is nothing like I ever saw before. Guyana has so many cars and not enough roads. I know that we're in pandemic, but if people can travel in minibus, they could also carpool. Thank you very much. We have somebody thinking here. So instead of there's 5 cars in the streets, why don't you use 2 cars to come down to Georgetown? But of course, there's a pandemic, and not a lot of people want to take some chances here. But it's a good idea, and I'm going to talk to you about what I noticed. I was paying very close attention this morning, and the traffic was heavy. Honestly, if this continues, I don't think anyone from overseas will want to visit Guyana. It's just terrible. But let me tell you this. So I came up to the Harbor Bridge. I was driving along the East Bank coming to work. I left just a little after 11 today. When I reached into Providence, the traffic became a little heavy there, and the line started somewhere around the Tulsi Prasad, and it was crawling. So I took a little one of the detours, and I came out by Peters Hall School Street there. And when I came out there, we were crawling. We passed the traffic lights at the Demerara Harbor Bridge Junction there, and looking on the left hand side. I saw the cones. The police put up cones. Now, that was something that I wrote about in my column over the weekend. That you should find ways. The big problem that we have when there's traffic and traffic build up is that you have minibus people and all kind of people that overtaking and undertaking and all kind of thing that they're doing, mostly overtaking, and then you have three, four, maybe five lanes being created in one road. So the police put the cones there to stop people from undertaking. I did see one, two vehicles in certain areas did, breaching those cones. But you coming down, it was a little easy when you pass the Eccles area. They coming down who familiar with that area there, coming down to Banks AIH, coming down to the Penningtons where the market is when you turn on to Lombard Street. They have put no parking zones there, so the vehicle, because when you come there, you used to reach up with a bottleneck, and so there isn't a lot of vehicles there parked illegally parked or anything. There's one two that I saw, but there's still because when you reach up to the Guyana National Shippings gate there are vehicles waiting to enter that cause they close off one of the lanes because you can't pass them, so you restrict to one lane, so you come back basically to a situation of a bottleneck situation. But the traffic, I must say, all it was so heavy because of some of the things that the police did along the East Bank there. It helped somewhat. So, yes, but it is Christmas time, and we know every Christmas time there are issues that are happening with traffic. We have 10,000 new vehicles hitting the road, or 10,000 vehicles being registered every single year in Guyana, and this has been happening for maybe about 8 years or so. You just multiply it, 80,000 vehicles on an estimate for the past 8 years. 80,000 vehicles because 10,000 vehicles. So I suspect we're not talking about motorbikes and things like that. We're just talking about trucks and cars and minivans and minibuses and so on. We're not talking about the bicycles and the motorcycles and so. There has been a dramatic increase in that as well. So we do need those roads in a big hurry. The Harbour Bridge was contemplating, they were looking at a measure which instead of you stopping and having to stop by a toll booth agent and collect pay for your toll, that they're going to put some device onto your car. You have to buy it. And you put credit into it, and as you cross the bridge, it was click something, and you'll be able to take it. It's similar to the system that they have overseas at some toll stations, various parts of New York and then in Japan and so on and so forth. So they want to do that in Guyana. They've started with a number of entities, government entities like NDI, National Drainage and Irrigation Authority, as well as the Ministry of Ministry of Agriculture, and they're looking to do it to the other to open it to the general public. But they have to find a company which is going to be able to take the money out from your or put the money into a card if you're using a card system. And so they're working on that. But that is if they get that up and running, that's going to reduce some time, maybe a few seconds, and that multiplies and makes it faster. But what we do need is some very quickly, within 5 years, the situation is not going to change. It's going to take that long to build a new alternative road along the East Bank, meaning that Ogle to East Bank bypass. It is going to take you that long to build a new Damar Harbour Bridge show, and that is going to go someday by Nandi Park. So in the meantime, we have 5 years to deal with the East Bank traffic situation. It is bad news, but it's the reality of what we're facing. What do we need to do? We need to come up with innovative measures. The police needs to be on the road there. We need to continue to insist that discipline be the watchword of the day. Do we have a caller online there? Good afternoon, caller. You're on the air. Go right ahead.
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I'm living in Belly Village. It's so eyesore. The main pipe of the road opposite the Belly Primary School, it break. Coming from the school before you meet the shop in Belly, it got a next part break, and the water keeps wasting all the time.
Did you call GPL? Not GPL. I must tell you that I did invite.
Yes, we did.
All right, I did invite GWI, and GWI has refused to come to the program. They said that they have a preference. They've spoken to the people, and they can't do it, and they have a preference of the people call them. I did give out a number for the PR department, and if you guys have a directory, please call the PR department at GWI there. I'm trying to get a number. I'm going to announce it over the air there.
Okay.
But
Thank
call the PR department. I'm going to
you.
give you the number in a short while.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, so I found the number there. It is 223 4244. 223 4244. And you go through the extension 1101. 223 4244, extension 1101. GWI did say that nobody calling them to complain about anything, so everything seems to be nice and dandy. I did send to the minister, Colin Crowell, about Post Office Street, Grove, which people have been complaining to me that GWI received complaints about 3 or 4 months now. Every time I think about this and I see the arrogance that's coming out of a company like GWI, and when I remember that a few months we would have been on GT&T case. GT&T is a lost case. We can't even be talking about them right now unless they really fix it and appease the people for the nonsense that they would have done over the last 30 years or so in Guyana. But what we do know is that you have another company that seems to have as much arrogance as GT&T, and that one is the GWI. And you guys, you cannot continue to treat the people as if they don't exist. They are paying the money, and if they don't pay the money at the end of the month or whenever, and you cut them out, it's a whole big hoodoo for them to get connected back again. So today it's your day, GWI. You are on the people's. I don't know what kind of list to call it. My brother Leonard, thank you very much for standing up for the people of Guyana. We need more people like you from every radio station, TV station, stand up. The question to ask is why the vice president and the president don't come on your show to answer all the questions the people need to answer. Thank you very much. I went for a motorcycle driving practical test at Fort Wellington. The channel to negotiate cannot accommodate the cycle. So if you hit the guardrails, isn't there a standard size of the pattern? You have to ride slow, thus you lose your balance, foot on the ground, fall again unless you go left. Yes. We need to start looking at these things here, man. You have people all over the place giving license and doing things like that. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure whether we have whether we can standardize these tests. But what we do happen to have right now is a bunch of people who did not go through those driving licensing, and we paying the price for it because if you look at the madness, everybody seems to be a race car driver, seat rack back, and they are there in that race car crunching position. I don't know how you see over the dashboard and you drive like that, and the music is blaring, and or you're zipping in and out of traffic as if there's no tomorrow. Do we have another caller online? Yes. Good afternoon, caller. You're in the air. Go right ahead.
Hi, good afternoon, Mr. Gildarie.
Good afternoon, sir.
I have a complaint for, well, I would say for us, the users of the road.
At where?
Region 3. I said for the users of the road of
Yes, sir.
region number 3.
Uh-huh.
Okay. When I'm traversing the road, I'm a chauffeur, I shall say, for a private firm. When I travel on the road, be it in the morning hours or even in the afternoon hours, these police, with their escort, be it for, I don't know if it's the president, maybe it is him, they are not using precautions. They're just flying past us users with their sirens on over the speed limit, forcing us to go off the road. And never mind the road is wide enough. Sometimes you cannot hear them. And they don't use precaution. They just go and fly past you. They don't care what they do. The next thing is when you're driving on the road, these same officers continue, even the private minibuses that the police officers have, and ministry vehicles. They have the beacon and the blue and red light blinking. And you're driving with the speed limit or a bit below the speed limit. They will just drive and just push you off the road. I mean, we as road users, I'm a cautious driver, I would say. But with these guys driving like if they're madmen on the road, what would happen to us, the users of the road, when we have to push ourselves in the corner of the road? We're being forced into the corner, into the ditch. If you understand what I'm
no, 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 no.
saying.
I understand. You see that happen often. With regards to the president, that motorcade there, I'm not sure what is the arrangement with that. I could recall that there were concerns raised in the past, but it remembers at the end of the day the president, the security, and so on.
Yes.
But um, I'm sure that there's something else that could be done. Well, the problem that we have that combines it, I'm not sure whether the president has moved into State House yet. I think he's still living across the river. But
Yeah.
it provides, it is an issue every time you got to move him and move him to across the river to where he is. But I think we need to do a little better than that. We
We
have only
need to
one road.
do, yeah, we need to do far better than that because the other night, Sunday night, when I was going back over the river, it was early, 7:30.
Mm.
They, in front of our station, three guys, police officers came out with their vests and their little, to stop. So they stopped all of us to put us in the corner of the road again, in the shoulder of the road,
Mm.
for the convoy to go home, the convoy.
Mm-hmm.
So a guy came out and asked him, we've been here for over 15 minutes, why are you keeping us so long? Before he answered, said the president is coming home, we need to keep the road a bit clear. He told the guy to mind his own business, is none of your matter.
Wow.
We need, there is a strict commander there, Mr. Errol Watts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But call him.
he
Call
was
call
there.
Mr. Watts. Call Mr. Watts. Tell him about some of the attitude. Tell him that he spoke with me because whenever I have these issues, I pick up the phone and says, "Look, this is what you need. This is something that I've heard. Y'all, y'all engage him, and
Yeah,
engage the rest."
but we need more cautiousness and more, feel more proud of our police force. I mean, and these guys who drive in these ministries vehicles are because they have their four-door Land Cruisers or a Hilux, they push us off the road like that. Because they have the beacon and the siren, they will just, force you off like that. That's like when he was the president, when he was in Ministry of Housing, when the PP government was in office. Same thing was happening. He was back and forth with the police convoy over and over. I think you can recall it because it was written in the Kaieteur News.
I will tell you a story that happened a couple of years back, and I wanted to die at that moment because that is when I learned about Glendale and some of the madness that this man does. So we had to go somewhere, and he had a Tundra, and I was sitting in the front seat. It's a left-hand drive,
Yes,
and
yes.
it was down middle road, not too far from us, right in La Penitence. And we were driving, and there's a police vehicle. I think I can't remember if it's a Mark II or something. And these guys was going through middle road like when there's no tomorrow. And remember, there's hurdles, there's the speed bumps, right?
Correct.
They're driving the car over the speed bumps as if the speed bumps does
Yes,
not exist. So Glenn,
correct.
right? Glenn overtook the vehicle, wind down the window, so they wanted to know who dare overtake the vehicle. And Glenn says, I want to ask you a very good, he's very quiet, right? I want to ask you a question. That vehicle that you drive in there, it belonged to you? And I think he used some choice words here, right? He says, I want you to know that that vehicle there that you drive in,
Taxpayers.
it belongs to F and me. Sorry, I would have to take that out. So, I'm gonna ask my boy to do that. So, right away, you gotta see how the boys decide to drive after them.
That is it. That's how some of them are driving. It is the taxpayers' money buying these vehicles, and they don't have respect for the road and road users, even their own vehicle.
What we gotta do is start taking pictures of it and then put it up on Facebook or something. BDD 1555 was operating like this on the road, driving like that. And take it, do videos and things like that, share it, give it to somebody who could share it,
Like
and let us get it.
Did you and drive? You see that?
No. Well, yeah, you're right.
Yes, yes. But I understand what you're saying. I understand. I totally agree with what you said. But how much of us would do this?
Right. No. It takes you got to be very strong because they bully you and
it
so on.
is.
But
Mhm.
I'm on the road every single day, and I am not sure how I'm gonna. I thank God that nobody don't trouble me or anything. Not because of anything, but I
Yeah,
think because
correct.
the way I make my face, and I don't want to tolerate. I don't want nobody to give me any hard time, and I don't want it to engage in anything because I'm not sure where it's gonna end. So I do the right thing. I am towing the line. I'm not going to speed. I'm not going to do anything that is going to allow anybody to get into an altercation. But I hear what you're saying. I thank you very much for that.
Yeah, one more thing, Mr. Gildarie. You spoke earlier about the coming down East Bank Road,
Yeah.
where the traffic officers put the cone on the road.
Yes.
Even though those cones are there, certain road users are not adhering to those. They want to make the road as how they want to make it. They would even drive on part of the pavement to get on back at board. I don't see the point in users doing this.
No, what they need to do, no, it's going to work. Well, what the police need to do, they cannot have five policemen on the road or ranks on the road to monitor the traffic. It's Christmas time, that's one. And
Yeah,
two,
that's true.
the two, because every time you got to look at it from the bigger picture. Every time that people go on the road, this thing is stress, brother. It's wear and tear on the vehicle. It's gas.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
is if you got to go to work. It plays on the mental health. So you got to look at it. What is the cost? What is it that is costing Guyana with this congestion? And you got to look at it. You need to pull out all the ranks. If you're not fighting crime, you might as well be on the road. And I saw this morning some brown clothes police officers there. Yes,
Yeah,
you're gonna
some
find people
superintendents
there.
and everyone,
Uh,
yeah.
you're gonna find people doing the madness, but what do you need to do? I think the police force, if they're listening, and I think they are, you need to put more people on the road and let them start
Enforce
doing
the
it.
law.
Right. And even if you got recruits and so on, bring them out on the road. It's Christmas time.
Yeah,
It's
we need
Christmas
to be
time.
vigilant also. That's
Right.
what I'm saying. I'm a daily user of this road, Sunday to Sunday, beat whether the time. We all need to be careful, but how much, we should. There's always some reckless driver who's the one causing us the pain.
Yes. Thank you very much for that, my brother.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So it is just after 2 o'clock, and I tell you right now, it's a insurance time, CARICOM insurance time. Do you have a contract? Well, why not give us a call for the best rates on your bonds insurance today? CARICOM General Insurance Company Inc. at 121 Regent and Arnock Streets. To better serve you, you can now purchase your insurance online, telephone 225-1787 or 269-0020. We are going to tell you that we have our numbers open. 6222222. You could text us on that number 6222222 or call us 226-7453. Right about now we headed into a break, and when we back, we are going to bring you more comments and more developments, more calls we're going to facilitate. Thank you.
Get ready. Singer and Frigidaire are bringing you enough winnings. 4 lucky customers will win their share of $1 million in appliances from Frigidaire when they shop at Singer. Purchase any Frigidaire item from Singer to get the chance to be one of 4 winners of Frigidaire store credit valued $250,000 each. With weekly draws, the earlier you shop, the more chances you have to win. Glam up your kitchen. Fix up your laundry. Get enough winnings with Singer and Frigidaire. Promotion ends December 21, 2020.
So welcome back again to the Wake Up Guyana show here on Kaieteur Radio. We tuned in to you from our Saffron Street, Charleston studio here. We also coming to you live on 99.1 in Escobar, Demerara, and in Berbice it's 99.5. Kaieteur Radio on Facebook live stream, as well as Kaieteur Radio live stream on YouTube. You can also get us on Kaieteur News Online, and that is an icon there, a radio icon. You just click on it and you could be able to hear us live. Whatever it is that you're doing, I want to say welcome to our overseas people. It is Christmas time. I know that you guys had some big turkeys. A lot of family were posting up thing. I hope that you had a good weekend, that a good couple days. We need a rest. It's been a very tough year. It's been, I think I was reading something over the weekend there. I think BBC or something, and they were telling us about what the sea year has done to a lot of people. And we're going to probably need, if you want to think about an area that we should get ourselves involved in, maybe do something on psychology or something to do with mental health, because in a couple of years we are going to have a big demand for those kind of services. I think at the end of the day, People are going to come away from 2020 as being extremely scarred. And I'm not talking overseas, I'm talking locally here. Because of what we would have seen from elections 2020, that situation there, that kind of beating that our people received at the hands of politics in Guyana, is something that we're not going to forget in a little while. The way that we were divided heavily, the way that we had certain politicians, certain players who use the race card, still using the race card. Everything that happens, you're arrested for a thing, race. You could go on back to those days. It's all about us. It's our time. Those are the kind of language that you were hearing. Then, of course, we dealt with the pandemic COVID-19. We have 150 deaths. We have our entire situation where businesses were locked down. That would have a deal on our mental health. When you owe the bank, when you are not earning, when you have staffers to pay, when you have mouths to feed, you have a home to maintain, it could have an impact on you. And I'm not even talking here about the thousands and thousands of my fellow Guyanese brothers and sisters who would have had, some of them lost the job. The cane cutters, 7,000 of them lost the job since 2016 coming forward. Um, then the many who would have been sent home can't work from the restaurant. You know how many people did not work? Let's go to the airport. The airport taxi service would have been there. The blue caps, the red caps rather. All the airport people there. We could just talk about that. The hotels would have been affected. Those people who had bars can't operate. You look at Movitong, you look at Giftland, all those places can't operate. Go to Regent Street. What about the areas where you got to shut your shop there very, very early, or if you open up that you can't operate? So that's why yes, the cost of not opening versus opening, and then we see our numbers. America is going to see some numbers that's going to go up. I think they say the coldness of winter is gonna basically keep this COVID-19 coronavirus around for a little while. Of course, we're looking at here with a timely rolling out of the vaccines. That's something that we have to pay attention to. But to come back to what I'm saying here, the mental health for people when it comes to what we would have gone through, what we would have witnessed this year, what we would have seen from some brothers, from neighbors who are different race because of what the politicians would have been doing. It is something not going to be out of our system in a little while. It's going to leave a very bitter taste in our mouth. We have to wake up and we have to start pulling ourselves together, be very, very strong, start working a little harder, meaning start planting the kitchen garden, start doing things that there's not necessary that you have to buy clothes right now. Hold on to your dollars, keep saving for a rainy day, as they would say it, when things will be a little tough. But we seem to be doing a little better than a lot of the other Caribbean islands that were wholly dependent on tourism. They're now catching themselves. They're catching the tail, as they would say. Some old people would say there. We have to get ourselves, dust ourselves up, pick up ourselves. To see that amount of traffic in one way while we complaining, I am happy because it tells me that something is happening. The economy is turning. People are shopping. People are using the vehicles. They have to buy gas. Taxes going to the government. They're going to go shop somewhere. They're going to be doing something. Money is going to be flowing. So that's a good thing here. While our borders are not open fully as in the way that we expect it to be, we have to be careful. We have a responsibility of our own. Do you have a call online? Good afternoon, caller. On the air. Go right ahead.
Good afternoon, Leonard. How are you doing?
Good afternoon, brother.
First question. Do we have a pandemic in this country, Leonard?
Um, I'm not sure. As far as I know, officially from the government's perspective, yes. If you're asking if the people are taking it seriously,
Right, because it looks like we got mad people in this country.
right?
Definitely, more than half of the people are mad in this country. I can't see you got a pandemic and the place so busy, people now wearing nothing. Yeah? something definitely wrong with some of us in this place here, man.
No, no, it is the issue, the issue that we have here. Like last week, I did say to the people of Guyana, the people gets the government that it deserves. So if you're crazy, if you're mad, if you're mad and you're sitting, um, uh, you don't want to see this country go forward. You are going to be you are going to be in a situation where we're at right now. Numbers are rising. How do you deal with that? But go on.
Yeah, another thing too. As Kaieteur in or any other news or newsroom, you following this thing with Holyfield or Ricefield or any name. They had some. The case wasn't for this month or next month with Gringo or Ringo or any name.
Who?
Those G-Com people, man, Holyfield or Wolverine, fucking feet.
Yes, that matters before the court at the moment.
It was to try. It was to be this month or December month.
I think next month is where the case comes up back again.
Next month, and we had a petition today. Didn't hear anything about it.
The matter is ongoing right now. I think they are trying to have the court accept that the president should be David Granger, that he should be declared. That's they want the court. They want to put that for the court to accept it.
Mm-hmm.
So that is ongoing before the courts at the moment.
Let us see what's going on then, because things can change and change and change and change. All right, Leonard, have a good day.
Thank you very much. I want to say good day to the folks down in the Diamond area, in the Grove area, whatever it is that you're doing. It is a blessed day in Guyana. Just make sure that you sanitize, that you wear your mask. It is a very serious time. And this country here cannot afford any kind of indiscipline from our people. You're going to be strong. What's it that you're doing? Are you getting out there? Are you not wearing your mask? Somebody called me, I think, over the weekend and says, you want to say madness? Go across there to the Demico area by where Stabrook is. And you're going to see, as it's just right across from where a police outpost is at the Stabrook Market. And you look across to Demico right under there, and you see people there without mask, everybody laughing and gaffing, high-fiving and holding one another and things like that. It's normal. But let me tell you this, it's going to be a new normal if you start getting the act together, because we have a different life that's going to come post COVID-19. It's going to be over because of the vaccine. The vaccines that are going to be coming out and being unrolled. But it's going to be for another year or so. In the meantime, how many poor people are going to die? What's going to be the cost of the country? Let me tell you what's going to costing us right now. It's costing us billions of dollars, because monies that could have come to build schools, to give people a frack in the hand. It could do some other stuff like give a few people a few hampers. It could buy drugs, because when we talk about insulin at the place, at the hospitals and so on, and that you're not getting that, it could do all of that. But at the end of the day, we have to be very, very careful in what we're doing. We have to be considerate too of the other population, not only about your family, not only about your loved ones, but talk about your neighbors and about the rest of the people, because your actions, which is a very cavalier action, could have implications, and it does have implications for the rest of the country. So we tuned into the Wake Up Guyana show. I'm your host, Leonard Gildarie, and right about now, we will continue to talk about what are some of the messages that our people sending. It is good afternoon, Mr. Gildarie. Teachers were asked to do online teaching since the 14th of September. And had been doing so. Now, the education officer from the Ministry of Education bombarded head teachers every week with new systems being implemented. The present one is that more needs information about the number of I'm not sure here, attending school on a daily basis, and the reason has not been there. COVID is on the rise since they have been reopened school to the grade 10 and 12 students. Head teachers are written to as neglect of duty. I understand that there was a recent issue here at let me see where it was, Bishop's High School. Somebody spoke to them, to one of the teacher, or threatened the teacher online apparently, or said something wrong with that teacher. The rest of the teachers down tools for a couple of days. And so, these are the kind of things. But yes, I hear what you're saying. There's two and three sides to every story. teachers, they're playing a fantastic role in working in this COVID-19 times when it comes to this country and how we try to pick up ourselves. And we need all shoulders to the wheel. Yes, we're not going to have the same benefits like before. You might have to invest even out of your own pocket in with internet and so on. But guess what? Not doing it has a worse implication. But teachers and all the other people who've been holding up strong, all the healthcare workers and so on, they have been doing a fantastic, fantastic job. Hello, Leonard. Good afternoon, my brother. Continue doing the great work you're doing. I would like to know how liquor bars cannot operate as usual as the license remain the same. Thank you very much. There is a COVID-19 regulations in this country of ours, and you cannot just move in, or you cannot just break those laws. You could remember that the task force has a big issue right now with a couple of bars, and they are going around the place. Palm Court, which is such a prominent area, has been written to, and so did a couple of other places. So it's interesting. In the meantime, I want to say good day to my dear friend W.R. Riaz. Riaz, you stormed into our studio here, as
No
if
bags. No bags today.
no
No
bags.
setting up today. Straight to the mic to deal with you. What story you giving the people about warning letter? I'm thinking them as a bluff.
It's a warning letter. Who got a
I
warning
think it's
letter?
a bluff. We're just talking about us now. About
No, I never said anything about warning letter. I just say that we
They get
throw
a
you out.
letter.
We throwing you out of the place.
no, they get a. There's what they say.
Okay.
You were just saying if some persons get warned.
Yeah, some teachers are complaining that they because of the situation, some of them got warning letters or so neglect of duty and so on.
Oh,
I
that's
think
a bit.
I think they need to talk. Look, you guys,
Yeah, that's a bit tough. That's a bit tough.
if you're to ask
together.
me some of the things, there's a teachers union. I think the Minister of Education, Priya Manik Chan, is a very approachable woman. There should be some talk somewhere along the line. You can't just sit on these things here. Let's don't quarrel about it on the side. Start engaging people. They are going to be.
I mean, what we need to do is everyone know what we're in at the moment, and I really think that we need to be grateful for the little that we have at the moment. And I've been saying that over and over for the simple reason that don't take the small things for granted. Yeah, we're in situations. I'm hearing it every day. Everyone said, "Well, we missed this. Yeah, we all. Let us just use this time and focus that this is not affecting one person. This is affecting the world, not 83,000 square miles. The world. It's
It
affecting.
is the world.
So I think, like you rightfully said, I think that a roundtable discussion or talks. I don't think the harsh, especially December. It's
No, the thing is very simple.
Especially December.
Riaz, let me tell you this, and this is what I said to the people last week. One of the big issues that we have, and we could solve so many issues in this world if we start communicating a little more. Communication is a big, big problem. It could solve wars. It could solve so many things, even down on the political level, right across Guyana, maybe between political parties, between husband and wives, boyfriend and girlfriends, between siblings. You know how many siblings in Guyana fighting for property? Some of them have each other in court and things like that. Maybe they couldn't talk to each other, but no, I have a bigger muscle than you, so I'm taking you for that piece of property. Why can't somebody want a piece of the property and you believe? I don't understand.
When I was growing up, and let's say 10 years ago, when I hear stories like my dad and his brother or uncles or big men in them days, 50s or stuff, talks about, how we get things easy now and how we used to discuss it. I used to laugh at them and say, you know what? That would never happen. I used to laugh at the situation of the 60s will never reoccur, or I will never be alive to see or go through that we went through a few months ago. Because let us face it, that was the 60s in 2020. It just so happened that some of us had a little bit more opportunity to show the world of what was happening. You imagine back in those days, you didn't have a Kaieteur radio or a Stabrook News or Kaieteur News or millions of Facebook people to share stories of what were happening and what went down in certain places. I spoke to a minister, I wouldn't call his name, a minister, government. He told me that what you guys saw there was a similar something that had happened the previous elections, but it's just that it never gets out. It didn't get out to that magnitude.
There's a smarter population right now.
The population is more smart, but I think the population is more smart, but a little too. The word ignorance may be bad.
No, it was not ignorance. We have a very reserved population.
What is reserved?
No, I'm getting
no. What happened, as you bring to that point I was getting, as I moved away, I was trying to get to the story that the discussion of dialogue, we're losing that merit of society today. We're talking about flexing the muscle. That's the immediate thing that we want to do. We have lost the mutual respect and understanding that two big men or two big women or a man and a woman could sit and discuss. I think the generation now, if we didn't lose it as yet, it's been drifting away from us bit by bit. And that's how society, in my humble view, is taking a dive for not necessarily the better, but I hope it's going to rise for the better somewhere along the line.
In countries like more developed countries, in every country, I think there should be some think tanks and so on. I want to say think tanks. We should have our group of intellectuals that are out there, qualified people, not necessarily even qualified people, people who have this country and they want to see it developed in a very quick way. I'm not sure. When I look at what's happening here, I can't see one think tank. When I say think tank, a group of people. What you're seeing is a couple of people on political divides.
Yeah.
And one of them, you might see them in the papers every day or somewhere, but where do they sit down in a discussion panel and says, look, I believe that Granger and Irfan Ali should be sitting down and having a conversation. And I don't see that kind of discussion where critically you could say Irfan Ali has screwed up here or David Granger has done this. And I think if we could look at the Ukraine situation or maybe at the Brazil example, this is something, but we're not seeing those kinds of discussions.
We've seen, let us step away from tiny 83,000 and let us go where a population votes over 150 million. We see that same type of attitude right there.
Well, let's see.
Right? And if everyone is looking at the big boss, hey, we are looking at the superpower nation. That superpower nation is in the same mentality at the moment. So the small fishes in the sea that is, puddling around for survival, we're seeing this big fish playing that type of game.
Well, let's see. And talking about big fish, the big fish is right now in the Kaieteur radio studio here on Saffron Street. You're tuned into the Wake Up Guyana show with your host, Leonard Gildarie. And as normal, we would have W.R. Riaz, stepping in here. Of course, as usual, too, with his long hands, without anything there.
Did
Absolutely
we get anything
nothing.
from Gildarie for Diwali? We didn't get anything from him.
No, you were not here. In any case, but in any case, back to our business, the people's business here on Kaieteur Radio. Sir, good day, your boss and your listeners. During 1986, I wrote in the Stabrook News that more people should be issued firearm license because of the crime situation. Today, with all these international-style crime committed on poor and innocent people, for sure, while counting the losses, they might be saying, if only I had a gun to protect myself and family and my asset, etc., etc. Sir, the time is now to process and issue more firearm license to Guyanese of all classes because people need to be protected. Believe me, sir, the mere thought of retaliation would be the bandits' worst nightmare. Thank you very much and blessings. That's something that has to be debated. Do we have another caller in line? Yes, good afternoon, caller. You in the air? Hello? No. So very quickly here.
I was about to make a call to someone of the traffic ranks before I get in. Did you get any update on East Bank? Because when I was getting into the studio, it was fine. But this morning, I got complaints from from
It
a
was-
radio colleague of mine.
Uh-huh.
He took 1 hour 40 minutes to reach to that studio, his studio across at Brick Dam from the bridge. It gets it. He said that it gets sticky from like around Houston when at that hour at 10 they were doing the double lane coming up. Coming around Bangstern, coming around
Yes,
Bahaman.
you would have some issues
Yeah,
here.
and then
but
he-
why
1 hour 40 minutes.
But why are you allowing traffic to come up from that area there? Because
You
the-
saw the markings on the road.
No,
when
I
you-
saw it. Yes.
Yeah.
So if you, it didn't wonder me because the bulk of the majority of the traffic at peak hour would be coming down to Georgetown.
Yeah.
You would not want to be opening that.
Yeah,
You
I-
need.
I-
I'm not sure why did they
This
do
is,
that.
I think.
I could think in the afternoon, but not in the
Yeah.
morning.
Yeah, well, I know it was closed right now when I get in.
Yeah,
because I
yeah.
use the same area to test it just to get across here because I got a couple of persons being saying that it was crazy up to like about 12. So I decided, you know what? Let me step out a little bit early and use the same route getting into studio. I didn't see anything of that sort, but you know. We're all on the traffic issue. I understand, but Gildarie buy a car the other day. I don't know. Somebody else, Raj, soon to buy a car. Riaz might want a car. You might get about 3 cars in 1 yard. But however, who didn't have a car is getting a car today, but we still have the same amount of road.
Yeah,
So I think
that's
it's
the
a
issue.
I think it's a task. Yes, I heard talks of the current administration about adding in the road, but I would like to call on the authorities to put a little bit more feasibility study. Step it up, please, because we're seeing what's happening right now. And, not taking anything away from the authorities that you got to move to a location. You may have an outrider. You may reach that destination. But like Friday afternoon, Friday was chaos on the road. These bank. I don't know which set of wise officers.
I think I would
that
run
get
mad
blamed.
because the good thing, what saves me? I come to work a little late. That's one. When I say late, not like the normal time. I come in till around 10, 11, 12. I leave late, so I'm not
Right.
caught in that. But I'm sorry. I every day I hear the media
Listen
people
to this,
complaining.
right? A cousin of mine took a journey for like just about 2 miles, 1 hour, 50 minutes.
And that's for you. That's reality in Guyana. So let me
Right.
tell you.
Yeah.
Here is a message from one of our viewers, listeners. Good day, Leonard. To you and your family, plus the staffers at Kaieteur News. Sir, can you explain a citizen of Guyana? How can you explain a citizen of Guyana is in receipt of $1 million US in his or her account through the banking system? Okay. When the same banking system has so many stipulations in place for a poor man to open an account, plus they would have had questioned me, or you would have had received 9 or 10,000 US in our account. Sorry, it's obvious that once you're connected, in my beautiful country, one can get away with anything. Ponzi schemes moving millions out of the country. Persons of interest receiving or transferring large sums in and out of the country. If the big ones are getting away with these white-collar crime, then what to expect from the poor brothers and sisters who continue to ravage our homelands with all types of robberies? When will this madness in our wonderful country stop? When will we wake up to the good news? Glenlal seems to be the only Mahatma Gandhi in Guyana. A good day to you, Mr. Mahatma Gandhi.
I saw Mahatma just now. He didn't hold me back for no conversation today. He was talking with the next gentleman.
I
so
want you
guess
to know he
that's
is a bigger version of Mahatma Gandhi
Yeah,
because
he gets
the
some
hats and
muscles, you know.
ballad.
Plus he gets some, ballad, plus he get little muscles as well, too.
Chief,
so
if you're
don't
saying
worry.
that is with much love in the heart,
Yeah.
I hope that you don't deduct any of my salary or anything.
No, or maybe we
I-
still asking for the bonus fee, right?
Yes, please.
Because
do
once
that
you
then.
get the bonus, we can get something out of you bonus.
Thank you very much. You're thinking big. So we have an ad break right now. You tune into the Wake Up Guyana show here on Kaieteur Radio. Your host, Leonard Gildarie. We have a little guest here today, and that is W.I. Riaz. We will be back with you in a short while.
Get ready! Singer and Frigidaire are bringing you enough winnings! 4 lucky customers will win their share of $1 million in appliances from Frigidaire when they shop at Singer. Purchase any Frigidaire item from Singer to get the chance to be one of 4 winners of Frigidaire store credit valued $250,000 each. With weekly draws, the earlier you shop, the more chances you have to win. Glam up your kitchen, fix up your laundry, get enough winnings with Singer and Frigidaire. Promotion ends December 21, 2020.
Thank you very much and welcome back to the Wake Up Guyana show here on Kaieteur Radio. And so we are going to go to our lines right now. Do we have a caller? Yes. Good afternoon, caller. You on the air?
Hi, Leonard. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. You sung as if you don't cook a hot fish curry there. Could I have some?
Yes.
No, you didn't.
I call for ask you if you got a number, personal number for me call you and talk half ear with you. I have something to tell you.
Yes, you could call me. Today's a bad day. I got back-to-back meetings. So tomorrow is a good day. 225-8491.
225
8491.
8491.
That's the office number. And you could call me maybe after 3 tomorrow.
Okay, all right, Leonard.
Thank you very much, my dear. Bye-bye.
If you get any fish curry from the caller, must remember.
You
them
want
on this-
some too?
I don't remember this one side.
I had some nice fish curry.
I'm just saying, Raj, you could bring something for you if you get anything.
Raj, you like fish curry? You did promise to do, what was that thing? Biryani?
Biryani rice.
When last you cooked biryani?
He's trying to. 3 weeks ago, we didn't get on. We didn't get any.
In India, you could do dal, lentil, to more than 2,000 different
yeah,
ways.
I heard that
Okay.
actually.
Good afternoon, brother. School started since September, and some teachers are teaching online, and some children didn't have internet, so no classes for them. And when school reopened, teachers still teach online. Which children didn't get no school? So how will they follow teachers with they don't teach? They're not teaching back. So now children didn't do the SBA. No half price, only full price, which poor people children can afford to write CXC. Now, due to no work since many months, very sad for us poor people. I think what we need to do, maybe, I was trying to get on to Priya Manik Chan this morning, the Minister of Education, and what we need to do, because obviously we're in a very peculiar state right now. I think they need to do an assessment maybe at the end of December.
Yeah.
This reopening of school, this hybrid system that we have, how well has it worked? I think she did acknowledge that, look, what we've created here, keeping the kids home is not an option.
Yeah.
So you have to take into account that there's no internet in the hinterlands. How do you create a system that is going to work for all? And she did acknowledge that one size would not fit all.
Yeah,
and
that
and
is true. And let us not forget that this is a similar problem that is facing around the world. The advantage of the big fishes is that the internet is better, but it is problems across the world, and especially smaller countries with a little bit less resources, like Guyana. I hear this statement and I see these statements every day, and I tend to want to understand, how do you think like that sometimes? Everyone jumps on this bandwagon that, well, we get oil, so we gotta get it. So this thing happened overnight. So if your wife get pregnant today, that means she get baby tomorrow morning. That's how everyone is making this thing sound so fast. The ripple effects will happen in society, right? The spill-offs are not oil spill we're talking here. We're talking money spill-offs will happen. But a lot needs to be put in place before we could be able to see these benefits. We've seen and heard of, well, we know of the oil situation. If y'all need to know more, join the Glenn Lyle show. Wednesday, is it? Or is it tonight?
Tonight.
7:20. 7:20, and you'll get more in depth. He will drill deeper than us on oil talks. But we can't rush situation. We have to give the authorities some support, and authorities in this case, not only government, but places like the GTA, they all need to come together and stop politicking.
I agree with you. There's too much of that.
Right? Because we seeing too much of politicking from one section, the next section, and what is happening in the meantime? The kids suffers. Kids,
That's at the
the
end of
children, not a PPP or a AFC or a PNC child. The children of Guyana suffers in the meantime,
Thank you
whilst
very-
they're fighting that battle.
Thank you very much, dear. Hi, good afternoon. Yes, Leonard, the traffic started building up again. Do we have another caller in the air? Good afternoon, caller.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Mr. Gildarie.
Yes, it is.
Okay, I'm calling from Maracaibo Village.
Maracaibo Village. Yes. For those somebody in Guyana who doesn't know, where's that?
Upper the Maikoni River, Region 5.
Thank you very much, and go right ahead.
I call a concern about the food hamper.
Food hamper. There's no food hamper that I'm aware of. They had announced that they were going to give 90,000 plus poor families food hampers. They put that on a halt. They're doing the what you call it now, the cash, the $25,000. Did you receive that?
No, not as yet. They promised me, but we ain't getting.
Yes, because they haven't come to Region 4 as yet, and Region 4 is going to be a nightmare because they got to go to St. Cuthbert's and all those areas there. That's a Region 4 community, right?
No, Region 5.
Region 5 in that area there. I think they're up in Region 5 right now, Sharon. Now, let's see what happens. But with regards to hampers, not I'm aware. What's the situation there in your community at the moment?
Nothing really going on here, but we just keeping the precaution them.
All right, but are people suffering a lot?
Yes, because some people are working, especially the
All right. What about the kids? Are they going to school?
We keeping them indoors, but no coronavirus at all in this.
All right. What about the kids? How are they learning, and what system are they learning? Are they getting booklets? Are they getting what?
They getting booklets. The ministry provide booklets for them.
And so the teacher engaging them. Is that system going smooth? What is the problem with it? Or is there
no problem?
No problem. Thank you very much for that, right? I'm going to raise this issue here. Maybe if I talk to CDC or something, say maybe you guys need some help there.
Okay, all right.
Thank you, my dear. Bye-bye.
There's the 30th. Did you receive any information on the new gazetted information as yet?
I think we're expecting it any day now.
And it should be arriving sometime soon.
Yeah.
What do you think will be the way forward?
I believe, what Riaz is asking there is very, very simple. Every month, the authorities, the task force, which I think is led by the Prime Minister, Mark Phillips, they would look at some of the measures, the COVID-19 measures, including the closure of the borders, restaurants, curfew, and so on. And I think they've been adjusting it as they go by. I think what we basically doing is experimenting because there's not any answers to some of these problems.
Yeah.
We've never faced anything like COVID-19. So in essence, every month we expect some changes to be made. The last time I think they would have pushed the curfew back to 10:30. We expect. I'm hearing that they're looking to bring back the curfew, meaning bring it back early, maybe 8 o'clock or sometime, because of the rise in figures. Obviously, the one to look at is the airport, what's happening there, and maybe some more reopening. Yeah. I'm not sure that public transportation, some aspects of that.
Because what I know internationally, which spills off a little bit to Guyana, the restrictions on non-essential travel to Canada have been extended until 2021. So that, in a nutshell, a normal individual with your visitor's visa cannot go into Canada at the moment. Essential workers only. So you're traveling from Guyana, you can't go to Canada now. You probably could come out of Canada, but getting in back, well, I wouldn't be able to answer that part of it, but I know Canada have just made that announcement earlier today because they were scheduled to they were not doing it by month, because their numbers are so high, they're doing it like week by week altogether. But let's see what's going to happen to us right here. I know there has been some positive cases. I don't have the actual numbers as in coming into the country. I know there were.
Yeah, there was a couple.
There were a couple that was nipped early altogether, but I don't have the numbers onto that at the moment.
Thank you very much. So you just have it's about 2:40 here. You have about 50 minutes to go, and you're tuned into the Wake Up Guyana show. I want to say good day to our wonderful people. I think I'm not hearing a lot of Christmas songs. I'm not hearing those Jim Reeves or Mariah Carey.
We play some Jim Reeves.
We
play some Mariah
you guys
Carey
and
Friday.
sync or something. What's wrong with you guys?
You
got to do a little better. Neil Diamond.
This man who don't listen to we radio, you know, right? Just must go down inside the newsroom and just hide yourself on the computer. Why we went playing Christmas carols
Which Christmas
Friday.
songs you guys
We
play?
played some Justin Bieber, some Mariah Carey. We did drop the NSYNC. We didn't go down Jim Reeves. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Yes.
All right, and so
We
in the
went down.
meantime, this is what the people would have been saying. Gregory, please ask Leonard to give WRE as a course in radio manners before bringing him back on the show. He
Wow.
continued to interrupt you and try to hug the MC. I like this. Put him up to play wind-up music and say big up all together.
Yeah,
To somebody, yeah.
I like that person who pays keen attention.
Yeah, they love you. People love
yeah,
you.
that's the love. I like that person. who
Also, the
pays keen
teacher,
attention.
on this program here, the good thing about this program here, we don't mind taking.
Yeah, we take
could-
criticism,
you
that's
take
fine.
criticism. Not only that, you could say, Gildarie, you could say anything you want about Gildarie. That's all right. I have a thick skin. Good afternoon, Mr. Gildarie. Following the issue with Guy Suko, it's proposed crazy spending on tractors. I'm alarmed at a letter penned by the very popular Globe Span, Dr. Asquith Rose, in last Sunday's Chronicle, trying to convince the average unsuspecting Guyanese that buying the tractors is the only way to live Guyana out of the ruts. Now, what ticked me off is that Dr. Rose got all his facts mixed up and wrong at the same time. He exposed himself that he was being directed to write something good on behalf of the government, but made a mess out of it. I feel embarrassed for him. Is this the level that the PPPC is now descended? They're having people from from academia in the diaspora selling their propagandistic idea to look good. Guyanese must now be awakened and creep to the light. Enough of this brouhaha. Thank you. Have a very good day. Do we happen to have a caller online? Good afternoon, caller.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Am I on here to Gildarie?
Yes, and you are on air at the moment, sir. Go right ahead.
Leonard, I have some points to make here to you. A very,
Sure.
very good afternoon.
Yeah.
What I want to find out for you, Leonard, I wanted to know something. These vendors on the seawall, does they take out a license? Does they pay tax?
I have absolutely no idea with the tax part of it, with the license. I
Because
rather
I want to
suspect.
get a license to sell alcohol beverage.
Well, that's something I don't know. I would have to find out on that. But I think City Council pays very close attention to who vends on the seawall, and so I think they do. But I don't know about the license
Anyway,
part.
what I wanted to make a point clear to you. Now, the shop owners them. Hello?
Yeah.
The shop owners them, who has liquor restaurant license. They cannot open. Palm Court could open. This hotel could open. That hotel could open. And all of them having people having a nice time, having it going on. And the poor class of people want to know if the government will compensate these people that have their shops sealed up for 9 months and over. Who will compensate them? They have like bill to pay. They have to mine themselves. Who mining them? Don't they have no consideration to giving them at least 6 hours a day and tell them space out and close up?
Let me ask you a question, and I hear what you're saying. Somebody would have raised this issue here. I want to ask, because if you were to ask me, I could probably raise this issue, but I want to ask you.
Yeah.
I would not contemplate, I would not back any kind of recommendations where you have people sitting down. In no restaurant or anything do they have them inside the building. They have them outside. If the people, if you have a off license, I think is what they call it, right? Where you could sell liquor.
Yeah.
If the government make a recommendation where you could be able to sell liquor, but you can't have a drink there, would you go with something like that?
Well, many places.
They're already doing
what
that.
I am seeing. That off-license liquor restaurant dealing with that.
Uh-huh.
Okay? But my point is, what is good with the goose is good,
Good for the gander. That's correct.
Do not allow Palm Court, not because they come under a restaurant, a buffet styling, people walking in and drinking and having a ball till 2 o'clock in the morning and all these things, you know.
I would answer you this way if you were to ask me a question. I don't think it's a matter of a government policy there, what you're talking about there. I think it's more of an issue. The police not doing the job. The police driving up and down every single day. In front, all the rum shops are open, all the beer gardens. And they do absolutely nothing about it. It's not a government issue. so much in terms of a policy. The regulations are very clear what should not be open. In fact, they've gone so far to put those regulations in what you call the official gazette, which is official notice of the government.
Now, Leonard, if they're doing something like that, my opinion, stop the vendors on the seawall from selling alcohol beverage.
It is I would agree with you up to a point. I think it's more of looking at the bigger picture. What is the government policy? You need to ask them, what is your policy? And why is the police, if you don't want to talk about it, what's happening across the country, why is the police in this specific area not enforcing the regulations?
If they're enforcing the regulations, stop the vendors. Go by Starbucks Market, the coolant card, them got.
Oh no, they got them all over. They moved some of those high cars the other day and put cool cards next to them.
And they selling beer and Guinness and quart of vodka and all of that.
They sell the quart of vodka too? Which one is vodka? There's a cheap one?
Yeah. All over the Starbucks Market they're going on. But they don't want to seize it. Seize it.
I hear you what you're saying. I'm going to try to get on to the Prime Minister, Mark Phillips. And I want to, in fact, I did ask the what you call the people them again now, the task force. I did talk to Mr. Hussein, I think Nazrul Hussein, and he did indicate that he's going to send some people. In fact, we're supposed to have GPL on the program today. They are going to come tomorrow. I'm trying to get these people on board here.
So when you make whenever you get them,
yes, sir,
just indicate to them, the licensed shop owners them lock up. Let the vendors all around stop sell alcohol beverage. You catch them, seize everything.
Yeah.
Seize all the alcohol beverage that they have. Seize it. You could sell a soft drink. You could sell a juice. Nobody stop me on that.
Yeah. All right, I hear what you're saying, and I'm gonna pay attention to this area. Try to get some answers on that. Okay?
Yes, and one more thing.
Yes,
The
sir.
bus drivers them.
Oh, that one, another story now.
Passengers them.
What happened with them?
A bus on Sheriff Street. A bus on Sheriff and Campbell Avenue.
Yes, sir.
They is saying two in a seat. I saw this bus fully loaded.
Well, who are you to blame with that? I want to ask you this because I've been thinking about it. You blame the driver and the conductor, or you blame the passengers?
I blame the police.
I blame the passengers.
I would lock them up and confiscate the road service.
I hear what you're saying.
If you do something like that, you could confiscate the road service.
No, of course, and there's so many things that we could do in this country, but the first thing that you must have is the will to make it happen, right?
Yeah, but if you put it out to the police, that if you catch them with that, confiscate the road service, a BFF or BGG.
Let's take the pictures of all these people here, if you can, whenever you see them or so, somebody get a thing, let them take a picture or a video, and let me put these people up and let me shame them. You can't continue doing it. Let me put them. All right?
One of them a day, imagine they load up a bus. He going to take in another one, put it four in a seat. And while he exit the bus, he say, you stay there as auntie, man.
All right. At the end of the day, at the end of the day, I thank you very much for that, sir. Have a pleasant rest of the day. So we do happen, this is a beautiful country of ours. We do happen to have some choice name. Like I call my friend across there, Riaz. Some people would call me Gildarie and so on.
That gentleman changed your name. Just change your name quite
They changed
often.
my name. I think the other day they called it, I can't remember what it was. I have so many names. But very quickly, we are coming on. We have like just about 5-6 minutes here. Let's try to push in as much messages as possible. Leonard, what was the person saying about the large sums of money transferring from one bank to another? It happened to me. I'm $500. I sent $500, or I am $500 for my family, and they're asking my relative all kinds of questions. When I talked to the agent in the US here, they said they do not authorize Guyana to ask any questions. So what is going on? Some of these people in Guyana, when they're in position to take advantage of the poor people, that's the truth. It needs to stop. Let me just address this very, very quickly. We did pass a law a couple of years back, the anti-money laundering and countering of financing of terrorism laws, I think it was. AML, CFT, I think it was. Good. Having said that, that mandates us that if we want to continue to do business with the banks overseas, for us to ensure that we're not dealing with dirty money and then dealing with them, dirty money could come from drugs, ganja, anything that does not pay taxes on, that is dirty money. So by law, all the regulatory bodies in Guyana, including Bank of Guyana, and I think the financial, I think there was another one too, but they mandated that all the banks and the cambios and the gold board and everybody else who's dealing, even the insurance companies dealing with these kind of things, that they ask questions and they have to fill out a form. Even when I take out my insurance recently for the car, I just got a car with 3 eyes open his big mouth and talk about. So I had to fill out a form that says. I can't remember what it was, but it had something to do.
Yeah,
it had something to do with the
it
AML.
was it goes back to the money laundering bill
That's correct.
that we had to sign on to.
Right.
It was mandatory. It's an international act altogether because it works. For instance, in a simple nutshell, if you didn't sign that act, this is what happens. You're being blacklisted. Being blacklisted also means you cannot trade with international banks. If you want to buy a car from, let's use like a Japanese company,
That's correct.
you have to take that money into your bank. Your bank sends it to either Bank of America or there's like a couple of other banks. Then that bank sends it to Japan. Now that link would have stopped.
Right.
That link would have stopped if there's so this is why you have to provide the information, because it's a global body. It's not just about Guyana. If some persons were a little bit ignorant at once when we heard that you gotta fill up this form, and if you go deposit more than X amount of dollars, you gotta, but it's an act that we had to sign on to. And not only Guyana, countries around the world, so that you are being transparent at the end of the day when it comes to money, and you're protecting money laundering, or you're not promoting money laundering. You're more so protecting individuals from not getting into that act, so that taxes and everything like that could be paid. That was the idea behind it.
Thank you very much. But there's a flip side to the story here. I think a couple months back, when this new government came in, Bank of Guyana came out with some new regulations now, which makes it easier. It was designed because they believe that maybe these regulatory practices or the stipulations by the banks and the other financial institutions it created so much headache for people that you had a problem. The old folks who were going into the bank, they asked them for simple things. I can't remember what it was, whether it was not a job letter, something they asked them for that the old. I mean, the senior citizens don't have these kind of things. So the Bank of Guyana relaxed it. So the school of thought there is that maybe we could do some things that is not going to put that burden on the people who are coming to deal with the banking institutions and so on. So a very good question there, and it's a very good topic. Maybe we could continue it on another day. Unfortunately, it has come to a time to say goodbye. And as usual, it has always been a pleasure being with you here on Kaieteur Radio, on the Wake Up Guyana show here. If you've missed the show, now join us. You could also get us back on Kaieteur Radio on Facebook, or Kaieteur Radio live stream on YouTube. We will be back with you tomorrow. Same place, same time. We will have GPL officials in the house. I'm speaking again like everybody else.
Once there is light, they will shine.
Yeah, once there's light, there's shine. But yesterday, there was a cloud of darkness hanging over the land.
How long did you get
hours.
backward for yesterday?
About 4 or 5 hours, I think it was.
You beat me then. You win. I got it for 3 hours, 40 minutes.
Yeah, but I had so many things.
But today I had fairy lights by me.
Fairy lights?
Yep.
Without those fairy lights?
Yeah, daytime it came on, at least 4 times.
Thank you very much, and there is a God. So thank you for joining us on the Wake Up Guyana show here on Kaieteur Radio. We will be back with you tomorrow.
Before they go, if you know, guys, everyone, Leonard talks everything a lot, right? So here what happened. The seat will be switched tonight at 6 o'clock. Yeah, I'm not there. I'm not gonna be there, but I'll be seeing you in the hot seat of questions.
What he's talking about here is Daddy.
He is gonna be.
Mr. Hussein has a beautiful radio program that he hosts online.
6 o'clock today.
6
so
o'clock
you goes in the hot seat today.
Yeah. But the funny thing
but it's a good interaction. So you guys will get to hear how Leonard used to dance in the small days and stories in the past. I don't know what else is gonna come up.
He wants to ask me about the old days. I could tell him about the two sauce
Don't
ones.
tell me.
All right.
Don't tell heavy. Leave it for 6.
So see you on Mr. Mr.
That's it. Who says page this afternoon?
That's that's good. That's good. So he has it their part. So thank you very much. It has been a pleasure. We will be back with you tomorrow, same place, same time. In the meantime, stay safe, sanitize, wear your mask, do not do anything to put your family, put your loved ones, put your neighbors, and of course, if you could do something a little better to raise the level of life, to improve somebody's life, to save them, do a little if you have a little more. It's just a message. Have a pleasant rest of
Take
the
care.
day.
Hello, what you doing there? Shh. Why you there peeping in we neighbor bedroom window, girl?
I trying to see is what brand of diapers they using. Coffee tell me a couple the other day and it work real good. It ain't leaking, it ain't brand of baby belly, it holds enough pee. He ain't get no rash after a long time. It just proper.
Y'all, it's sleepy sensitive diaper and it has come in a purple pack.
How you know?
The diaper good for truth. I simply ask you.
Oh.
But wait, it's why we whispering. You realize they can't hear we from till over there.
Oh.
Sleepy, for mommies who look for the best.